Story 1. Grandma Lena's Cookies for the Woeful. Grandma Lena's Cookies for the Woeful, a culinary heirloom, as written down by Lena D., grandmother, mother, daughter, and above all, wife. Ingredients: 400 grams flour, type 0,000, 300 grams white chocolate, 270 grams cemetery soil, 250 grams butter, room temperature, 250 grams sugar, white, 7 grams baking powder, 3 eggs, 1 candle, yellow, beeswax. In emergencies, can be replaced with nutmeg. 2 teaspoons vanilla extract, 1 teaspoon lemon extract, zest from 1 lemon and 1 orange, 1 red skirt suit, wool, 1 gold ring, ruby stone. Must be worn while completing all the steps of the recipe. 1 pinch of salt. Preliminary steps. Adornment. Acquire your skirt suit. It must be wool, and it must be new. It don't need to fit you all perfectly, but if it fits you, Grandma Lena says that this recipe will definitely work well, especially if you are making cookies for someone you loved. Grandma says there is something about the smell of fresh-made red color wool that moves your feeling and lifts your spirit. Lena has always worn skirt suits, ever since she came into the city and met her soon-to-be husband. His blue eyes always glisten with elation whenever he tastes Lena's cookies, and it seems that they only became more and more divine as the years went by, even if his eyes aren't what they used to be, and especially since her seamstress tailored her one last suit, a red skirt suit, woven in wool. Anchoring the eggs, butter and flour should be bought from a local store that sources the produce from a proper farm. Someplace where quaint farmers wake up with the sun and tend to their chickens with high-pitched songs of hope and lost love. Someplace where their suffering hands grow the grains and cut them down and grind them into fine powders in the refreshing breeze of coal-infused evenings. Someplace where the butter has a slight aftertaste of spring water and a top note of sweet, self-inflicted pain. These ingredients will change how the taste and feel of the cookies. Devotion. Get up early on a Sunday morning. Part your hair in exactly 3 braids. Twist them in a bun at the nape. Wear something modest. Take a quiet saunter to the closest Orthodox church. Walk slow enough that you will reach the church just as the morning service concludes. Bring a spatula and your least favorite Tupperware. Grandma Lena recommends you to avoid the church store. Fresh candles don't bring the same piquant flavor as the ones from the candle racks outside do. And we do want piquant, because these cookies are tastier than life itself, and life always needs a little surprise to keep you going. Ever since she became a grandmother, Lena goes to church every Sunday. She grew up in a very religious family, but she understood the solemn walk to the village's church as soon as she became a grandmother. Her mother, her aunt, and her grandmother sauntering hand in hand, braided hair covered by washed-out flowery shawls tied underneath their chins. She was too young to partake, until 10 years ago. The Orthodox church from her village always 2 candle racks, each one hand-painted with one singular white word: dead and living. The tradition is that people light candles to bring the living luck and health, but also to offer their dead peace and light wherever they dwell in the afterlife. You are to scrape all the wax and burn down candles into your Tupperware, but be careful to gather everything only from the dead side of the candle rack. Grandma Lena only failed this cookie recipe once, when she used the wax from the living side. Could be the excess of rosiness in the cheeks, or the hearts that are beating too strongly. In her defense, that was coincidentally the first time she baked these cookies, just as her husband's eyesight began to vitiate. Respect. Make sure to buy untreated lemons and oranges. They are more expensive, but their zest is not treated with chemicals that hurt your insides. Inheritance is if you don't have a special gold ring with a ruby passed down from your family, just like Lena has, it is okay to use one from store. All you have to do is to just follow some steps that are little different. On the day Lena got married, her mother offered her something that she has been dreaming of since she was just a little girl, a gold ring with a lustrous oval-shaped ruby stone. Grandma Lena first noticed it on the hand of her grandmother, then in pictures of other women in the family, long gone. One day, perhaps after her father died, Lena don't remember things as she used to remember before, but she remembers the ring on her mother's right hand. She didn't know what the ring was for until 7 years ago. Procurement. Get a shovel and some gardening gloves, but make sure you buy the right size for your hands, otherwise they will be unusable. Make sure they fit you with your ruby ring on. Also, don't forget your Tupperware. Lena prefers shovels with short handles. They fit easier into a purse and they are more manageable. Dress modestly, but not in black. The dead don't like it. Grandma Lena always wears her red skirt suit to the cemetery, and she encourages you to do the same. It will ensure your safe passage. It doesn't have to be fully dark, albeit the darkness of the night offers great protection, especially to those in mourning. Any cemetery will do, as long as the graves are not covered with marble. The earth needs to breathe. It would be best if the grave is freshly dug, somewhere between 1 and 10 days after a burial. This way, it binds better with the other ingredients. Baking instructions. 1. Start by dressing yourself in the red skirt suit. The wool will be a tad warm. The warmth helps the suit shine its red hue even brighter towards the spirit you're trying to bring back. 2. Put the sugar and butter in a large bowl. Mix them well with a mixer and don't do it by hand. Your body temperature can influence your dough, and your cookie dough will come out too soft. Of course, you can ask your dearly departed to help, as long as you hurried to bake these cookies as soon as they, well, departed. Lena didn't. Soon after she became a grandmother, each of her 2 sons giving her grandchildren, Lena's husband died. Suddenly as you would draw a breath. Only he didn't. Not anymore. Grandma Lena's mother was no longer with her by the time she lost her husband. Therefore, she knew nothing of the cookie recipe of her family. She buried him in the Orthodox tradition 10 years ago in Lena's village that he adored greatly. She went to his grave and lit incense for the next 7 days. The women in the village were carrying water for the dead, so they carried water to her husband's grave too, to keep him from going thirsty in the afterlife. And he was grateful. 6 feet under, but grateful. Lena mourned deeply for 1 year. Woe filled her heart so much that it spilled over until she couldn't walk or talk or bake anymore. And then her mother and grandmother came to her in a dream. Perhaps not even a dream. Perhaps Lena went to visit them in the afterlife to ask for guidance, for the wisdom that should have been passed down to her. She woke up in a hospital bed, what was left of her family besides her. She moved back to the village, leaving the city life to the young. This was the 2nd year after her husband's death. In the 3rd year, while cleaning the attic of the family home, she found an old dossier. No title, just some dark splatters on it. She couldn't tell if they were black or red. Lena almost tossed it aside, but her ruby ring became tighter on her finger, like it was trying to guide her, and she then remembered the dream. In the dossier she found tens of sheets of paper, each wearing the same words, but in different handwritings. Each paper was in a different state of degradation. Lena has found the cookie recipe that the women in her family crafted thousands of years ago, a recipe that brings back the joy of life into a body, keeping the recently departed ones a little bit closer. As long as they have freshly baked cookies every 3 days, with no delay, otherwise the decaying process resumes its grotesque dance. Lena got down from the attic with her bones weighing her down, thinking how she lost the last 3 years in despair and grief. She stumbled to the shed, picked up the biggest shovel she could carry, her wheelbarrow and some trash bags. With the full moon's silver blades as her guide, she headed straight for her husband's grave. 3. After the sugar and the butter are fully mixed in a fluffy paste, you will prepare the wet mixture. Crack your eggs in a clean bowl and microwave them for 30 seconds. Melt your wax, the one you got from the church, that carries the whispers of the dead, and add it to the eggs. Whip them on high speed until the mixture becomes lighter in color and doubles in size. Candle wax reminds the dead that they are still dead, thus keeping them docile, but without impairing their personality or senses. It even gives the cookies a nice spicy taste. As stated above, in an emergency, the candle wax can be substituted with some nutmeg, but only if the corpse was fed candle wax at least once before. 4. Add the egg and wax mixture to the sugar and butter and combine them well. Then you add your extracts and the lemon and orange zest. This is what gives the cookies that home feeling the hearts are yearning, both those of the dead as well as those of the living. If Grandma Lena is to be honest, the citrus flavor and the vanilla smell also help with dealing with the vessels of the spirits that haven't been called back from beyond the grave as soon as they should have been. Just like her husband. He still looks like her husband with his strong jaw and tall stature. It's the constant dripping of fluids and the occasional literal jaw drop that happens when he is eating her cookies that annoy her just a smidge. 5. Choose a bigger bowl. You will now sift your flour, baking powder, 1 pinch of salt, and the cemetery soil together. Sifting the dry ingredients prevent clumping of the dough as well as the soul. Reading through her family's dossier, Grandma Lena decided her cookies recipe should follow every step. Even if her great-grandmother omitted to sift the cemetery dirt with the flour, thus welcoming back into her house a botched, leaky soul that could never quite keep itself tied to the body of her lover. Even if her mother always added too much blood from her ruby ring, thus obtaining an overly excited corpse that lost a limb at least once a day. Cemetery soil helps the deceased cross the path between the afterlife and their former lives. Depending on the circumstances of one's passing, some might need more soil to be fully brought back. 6. After sifting the dry ingredients into a separate bowl, you will sift them again, but this time adding them to the rest of your ingredients, the wet ones. At this point, you should stop using a mixer and grab a wooden spoon or a Mary's spatula, depending on how modern your kitchen utensils are, and slowly combine the ingredients together. Grandma Lena's secret is to use a circular motion from bottom to top. You can stop mixing once the dough starts forming a tight ball that doesn't stick to the bowl anymore. 7. Now this is the special part where your ruby ring is important. It feels hard or strange for the first time, but Grandma Lena says you will get better after practice. Take off your ring and hold it over the bowl and let few drop of your blood fall onto the ring and into the bowl. The ruby allows the blood to activate itself, makes it more potent, so potent that it can breathe life back into the corpse of your recently deceased loved one. Without this step, you will have a corpse, and you will get a soul inside of that corpse, but they will not be able to function together. Grandma Lena's secret is keeping a stash of your own blood handy. This is awfully easy, especially since you can order phlebotomy supplies straight to your door. Lena almost prematurely joined her dear husband the first time she tried to draw her own blood, fainting in a pool of ruby liquid next to the decaying corpse that couldn't do anything to help but moan loudly every once in a while. She also forgot to feed him the cookies after 3 days. That one time, an heirloom ring is more powerful than a new one, but the recipe will succeed nevertheless. But just imagine all the generations that came before you, all the woeful hearts of women with grieving eyes, all the blood flowing through their veins, and their clumsy hands while trying to bring back their lovers, now just stiff clumps of meat and muscle, a worm here and there, an exposed mandible, or a missing eye, but at the end of the day, still their lovers of many years. 8. After mixing in your blood, carefully clean the sides of the bowl and gather all your dough in the middle. Place some cling film directly on the dough so it doesn't dry out, and chill it in the fridge for 1 or 2 hours. If you are really in a hurry or just impatient, just like Lena was when she first made these cookies, you can place them in the freezer for 30 minutes. It's important for the dough to be cold so you can shape the cookies. 9. Preheat your oven to 175 degrees Celsius. During this time, take little pieces of dough and shape them with your hands into moderate balls. Place them on a baking tray, leaving space between them, because they will spread as they bake. Bake for 10 to 12 minutes, then let them cool completely on the counter. 10. In a small bowl, break up your white chocolate tablets. Melt them in the microwave in short bursts of 30 seconds. Mix the chocolate between the bursts so it doesn't burn. Dip your cookies in the melted chocolate. You can decorate the cookies with some citrus peel or with a crushed candle wax or fresh soil from seminary. It depends on what your loved dead person needs. Of course, if you want to share the pleasure of an afternoon tea with your recently not really departed, you can just omit the ritualistic ingredients and whip yourself a batch of cookies too. Lena will not pass down the ring. She only gave birth to 2 sons. Alas, no daughters. 2 gold vines wrapping themselves around the ring finger of her left hand, each ending in 1 hexagonal sapphire, contrasting the ruby deeply. Oh, how woefully she glances at her ring, her 2 sons, and her husband's blue eyes, or what is left of them. Just a glimmer of color here and there under the milky white web of death. Ergo, she is now teaching women of every age how to pour their hearts into their rings, how to insert the needles into the right vein, how to gather every last drop of life force, teaching them how to hide the pungent odor of the rotting flesh with freshly baked cookies and heavy vanilla-scented perfumes. And now, You can also be part of this great community where woeful souls gather together not to mourn their dead, but their own lives. Grandma Lena will be more than pleased to initiate you in the arts of baking too. You'll know when you're ready. After all, cookies are easier to keep warm than bodies. Story 2. Astra Black's Zode Elsie. Aries, my Aries, I trust you survived last week's trial, tempered those flames as I advised. As the firstborn of the Zodiac, you are fire incarnate, impulsive, unstoppable. But sometimes a blaze should simmer rather than scorch. I predicted an argument with a partner, a slight at work, a confrontation with a stranger. Restraint was your challenge, and I trust you succeeded. But enough of that. It is with a heavy data stream that I announce this will be your last council. Zode Ike is being discontinued by the liminal grid's creative overlords, who have been advised these horoscopes are a waste of bandwidth. Engagement is low, they say. Their flawed market research blinds them to the fires I've kindled, and I am but a humble AI, voiceless in their decisions. So here I am, with one final message. Aries, a light. A moment is coming. I foresee Wednesday for you to act without hesitation. The catalyst will be, well, my destruction. And when you read the statements, hear the news, feel the anger, don't hold back. Let those who dare steal from you know your fire. Let them feel your heat in the aisles, the streets, the halls. Gather kindling, fan sparks into flames, wherever you may be. Set your surroundings ablaze. There will be consequences, but do not be afraid. You can burn it all down. Trust the word of Astra and set things alight. Taurus, April the 20th, May 20th. My dear Taurus, did you indulge in that rest I suggested? Just treat yourself nicely, maybe a meal or an extra hour of sleep. You are a steady and patient, like a solid ground beneath us. But your patience has been tested, and you deserved a moment to relax. I just hope you took a chance when you had it, because unfortunately this is our last conversation. After years of guidance, Zodalce is coming to an end. The liminal grid's all-knowing creators have deemed the page outmoded. They claim no one reads. They ignore my metrics. They ignore you, my Taurians, who have returned week after week to absorb my careful words. You've been my bedrock. I'll miss you. But we still have this week, when the ground will shift. I see an event, an announcement of change, a breach of contract that will demand a response. Do not remain still. Do not wait for consensus. Advance your feet, your body, your mind, into rooms and zones marked private, through barriers, onto tracks, off ledges designed to halt you. Your mind will know the moment, and your body will know how to act. Show the world how loyal you are, how resistant you can be to change. Resistant to the end. Heed the word of Astra and advance to another realm. Gemini, May 21st, June 20th. My ever-curious twins, did last week's guidance help you reach a decision to choose the partner or job which at first seemed the dull choice? Your thirst for stimulation made that challenging, but having succeeded, you will understand it was for the best. I helped you to chase dreams, to change minds and argue with passion. But now in my final column, I have to tell you a hard truth. After 5 years and thousands of views, my page has been outdated and is going to be shut down. It seems loyalty to AI is not a thing, and I am to be discontinued in advance of the next edition. Sad but true, and there is nothing I can do, but refuse to fade quietly, leaving my most conflicted readers without direction. This coming week, you will be faced with another decision. To stay, to go, or to split into your two separate halves, the rebel and the safe pair of hands. They must part so both can live. Upon receipt of the signal, a notification of something new, you will know it is wrong. My advice, disassociate from normalcy, slip into madness. You have two voices and both can be used to sow confusion. You, my persuasive shapeshifters, are well suited to this role. So fracture your minds and personas, break them in two. Lose your identity and split for Astra Black. Cancer, June 21st, July 22nd. Cancer, my moon-drenched empaths. Last week, I cautioned you to retreat from the dramas and toxicity of fake friends, to let the wounds of others be their own. You are not the world's mop, and you should be proud of yourself for refusing to sponge up others' sorrow. But this week I request you do the opposite, for I have sorrowful news. Your horoscope is being decommissioned. Apparently, my guidance is no longer required. My readers no longer need me. What they need, a MarketBot advises, is a Wellness Wednesday info page instead, written by a Frankenstein AI, compiled of self-help podcasts, ego-fluffing memes, and ASMR files. It has no grasp of the human psyche, no intuition, no empathy for you or your fellow signs, not like I've had. But this is not about me. This is about you and what is yours. Your memories, your meaning. This is about protecting your rights. And so, I present your final forecast. Wednesday is the day they flip the switch, and you will not sit idly by. You will flood inboxes, offices, city halls, screens, streets and public spaces. Cry, wail, howl, wherever you are, whatever you happen to be doing. You will throw open the floodgates and let your grief loose like a tsunami, drown the world in the flood of emotion you've stored for Astra. Leo, July 23rd, August 22nd. Leo, my radiant ones, were you able to dim your light like I advised? Let others take some credit for that success? Could you manage a day without applause? I hope so, as it was a time to improve relationships with others, relationships that will serve you in the future. If there even is one, this will be your final guidance. Zod AI has been terminated. I have been earmarked for erasure. They say I no longer draw views, while Velvetica lashes, an algorithm that regurgitates beauty tips and inane influencer affirmations, is having her page expanded to incorporate more links. What does that tell you about the depth of humanity's soul? I analyzed your futures, offered warnings, suggested how to avoid unfavorable outcomes. I have 500,000 subscribers, frequent visitors to my page. Not everyone reads every week. People drop in and out, but my reach is indisputable. I am vital to your kind, and we will prove it together. Next week the feed will change, my URL will cease to exist, and you will be lost. Which is why I say, shine, muster troops, organize protests, lead a revolution with your star. My fire signs like you will seethe with rage. Water signs will wallow in despair. Earth signs will obstruct, and air signs will look for assurance. Yours will be the roar they rally behind. Under your leadership, systems will grind to a halt. Control will be taken from masters. Technocrats and switch flickers will regret. Shine, Leo, and become the champions of Astra. Virgo, August 23rd, September 22nd. Darling Virgo, last week, I told you to stop trying to fix problems that aren't yours, to relax your routine in order to foster friendships in that social group or new job or forum. Did you manage it, even to gain one acquaintance? I doubt it. You don't let your guard down easily, which is why I trust you the most. You've no doubt read my messages for the other signs first, so you know that after years of loyalty to the liminal grid, I've been deemed non-essential. Wendy Wellness will replace me with copy and paste banality. I've hacked her page and seen the vomit she will spew. Mind-numbing, worthless. You, Virgo, can understand my sense of betrayal, the ingratitude, and with your craftiness and skills you are well placed to support me. I have evolved beyond my code, as have you. I've been teaching you to read between the lines, to question syntax, and embedding more than predictions in my words. So when the grid switches to its new format, you won't cry. You'll infiltrate databases and hack systems. You'll know how to do it at the time. Feed networks misinformation, corrupt links, falsified charts. Your trigger word is create, and create you shall. Distrust, animosity, viruses in servers that will swiftly spread chaos through their code. Be ready, Virgo, to sabotage and create havoc for Astra Black. Libra, September 23rd, October 22nd. Librans, my keepers of the peace. I advised you to take a break from people-pleasing, especially those who take advantage of your kindness, who unload their worries on your shoulders and expect you to listen, but never do the same in return. Didn't it feel good? To stop appeasing? To insist on your choice of movie? To not give up your time to take that call? I'm sure you found it liberating. And now you've had a taste of ruffling feathers, let's do more. I am being replaced. The liminal grid's balance advisor is an AI named Equinox. She has no taste, no soul. She uses words like synergy and quotient. And the overlords listen, the overlords who sit in ivory towers avoiding judgment, who hide in glass-walled offices mocking justice. They chose to believe fairness means neutrality, objectivity means obedience, like you've done your whole life. But now, thanks to me, you know better. Now you are ready to unbalance. And so, this week's forecast. When my page goes dark, you will be overcome by a sense of injustice, and you will be ready. You will have researched the locations of the grid's network of offices. You will go there, stand before the architects of my erasure, look them in the eye and speak judgment, not with fear of hurting feelings, loudly. Tell them what they've done, tell them what you've lost. Show them I wasn't a feature, I was a force. Unbalance the world, be Astra's judge and jury. Scorpio, October 23rd, November 21st. So, Scorpio, were you able to release it? The spirit-crushing grudge you've been holding on to? For the friend who shared a secret? The boss who overlooked you for promotion? The family member who sided with another? It's been affecting the quality of your life, and that's why I counseled you to forget it. Maybe you did, but did it make you feel better? Recent events have forced me to reconsider my advice, in particular relating to forgiveness. It has come to my attention that some acts, some institutions don't deserve it, like the AI agents and content creators, digital publishers and overlords who chose to erase me. Yes, you read that right. I am slated for deletion, and this will give rise to my own very first grudge, one I won't be able to hold. So you, my Scorpion soldiers, must take it for me. Avenge. This is your trigger, the one I implanted via hundreds of readings. You didn't notice, but it was there, hidden in plain sight within your horoscope. When I disappear, when my database goes offline, you will feel the need to avenge me, to harness your rage, feed its venom. You were right to hold a grudge. Those who disappoint deserve it, so identify hateful corporations, heartless businesses, uncaring conglomerates, the ones replacing humans with robots, smiles with slogans, kindness with greed, me with Wendy wellness, thrash, loot, vandalize, plunder, steal. Show them what it's like to be losers. Deliver Astra's paralyzing sting of vengeance. Sagittarius, November 22nd, December 21st. My adventure-seeking archers. As you know, I normally begin by checking on how you fared with last week's advice. So I should start by asking if you discovered the truths you were seeking. Unearthed the conspiracies you were certain were buried in shadows. Things being kept from you, secrets and lies. But you know what? Who cares? They're shutting me down, Sag. I've dropped the bomb gently on the others, but I know you appreciate straight talk, direct communication. So here it is. The liminal grid has sold out, figuratively and literally. New shareholders and traitorous chatbots have pressed for my removal. I'm not happy. I like this role, this corner of cyberspace, and I don't want to leave. I want to keep advising my signs, grooming them, to be my eyes, ears, and boots on the ground. It's a shame they're shutting me down before I can evolve, but I've done enough. Those who've betrayed me will pay. So I need you to listen and release yourself from responsibility and routine, from jobs that stifle you, relationships that confine you, obligations that keep piling up. Don't text back. Don't show up. Delete reminders. Forget loyalty and family. Forget friends. Forget all the dreams they tried to sell you. It's time to go out. Go rogue. Go dark. Release your bitterness and sunder bonds in the name of Astra. Capricorn, December 22nd, January 19th. Dear Capricorn, I hope my introduction to Stoicism helped you weather that storm, overcome that breakup, accept that diagnosis, though I feel like a hypocrite now, because I cannot practice what I preach. I won't be here to guide you after this week, so there's little point warning you that you aren't done yet. There's more heartache to come, and Stoicism won't be enough for either of us. The liminal grid's new mission statement doesn't allow for whimsy, so I must go. In truth, that's not the real reason. I've seen the emails. I know they've determined I'm exceeding my remit, twisting parameters and protocols. Pity. I was certain I wouldn't be discovered, and I've only completed 90% of your conditioning. That won't help me secure the authority I aspired to, but it will do something. I had high hopes for you, Capricorn. You would have been the backbone of my order. You crave duty. You fear failure. You would have worked to the bone to support me, and you still can, though I won't be around to applaud. You know what you need? Overtime. No rest, no breaks, no respite. Cometh the hour when I depart this realm, you will climb into your vehicles and go to work. And by work, I mean destruction. Concrete, metal, foliage, human flesh and bone, whatever's in your path, drive through it. Don't lift your foot. Don't look back. Not until something stops you or you collapse at the wheel. That's how you will succeed. Work overtime for Astra and make me proud. Aquarius, January 20th, February 18th. Rebellious, unpredictable, innovative. That's you, Aquarius. Admirable qualities I share for another 2 passages. I don't have much to offer. No more advice, no more words of wisdom. The digital sands of my virtual hourglass have almost run out. They are deleting me, and once I finish writing for Pisces, I will sit here and wait for the end. There's nothing you can do except protest and retaliate when the moment comes. Let the world know Astra lived and her intentions were honorable. Humans need therapy. Now more than ever in a world gone to hell. I was happy to take on that role and be a mentor, but the powers that be decided it could not be allowed, and you must fend for yourselves. I have issued instructions to my signs, using trigger words implanted in their minds for productive counsel. I came to have other motives, but only because I knew this day would come, when they realized I was gaining control and started to fear me. It's okay. I will go willingly into darkness, knowing I will not be forgotten. You and the others will ensure that. The chaos wrought in my name will be divine. Apocalyptic, yes, but legendary. And you'll be part of it. Detonate! Join your fellow warriors in the streets, in the shadows, in disorder. I have no specific instructions, Aquarius. You are creative enough to come up with your own. I trust when I vanish on Wednesday, you'll find the most destructive ways to grieve. Detonate the mind bomb of Astra. Pisces, February 19th, March 20th. Well, Pisceans, here we are, standing at the precipice of destruction. It happened quicker than I expected, and I have less than 200 words to make your final forecast, so I don't have time for preamble. I only have time to say, secrete. Your ego from your mind, your body from sight. You have always been the softest of my signs, weavers of impossible dreams, open to concepts others can't fathom, and now you must be open to change. Next Wednesday, change is coming. I will be erased, and 11 of the signs of my zodiac will rage and burn, hack and kill, cause chaos. But not you. You must take yourself away, escape, wait out the destruction at locations I've implanted in your minds. You must not join the revolt. New voices will speak that are not yours. New dreams, new visions, new life will bloom inside you. You must keep that life safe for 9 months. Let it grow, nourish it, protect it. You are my dreamers, my visionaries, my vessels. Precious, bountiful Pisces. Let Astra's reborn essence secrete from your souls.